see him talking. Yeah.
He's no longer showing muted, so probably.
Yeah, it's not showing that he's muted.
And his screen's not lighting up when he talks.
No.
Right.
Oh, Richard's coming on too. It's so strange. We heard him originally.
I heard him at first too.
Oh, now we can hear you, Bill.
No, when all else fails, just unplug it and replug it in.
All right, so it looks like the gang's all here. Everyone's on.
All right, so we do have a quorum.
We do.
All right, then we'll call to order the Board of Health meeting for March the 31st, 2020. What do we got going on?
All right, so Jim, do you want to start us off?
Sure. So this is just my weekly check-in with you folks. The Board of Health staff's doing a great job. Melissa, Rika, Trish, and Jen now are all kind of settled in on their roles, and I know they have a lot of investigations going on. We got still 38 cases, guys?
Yes.
Has it gone up? Okay. So that's a jump from, I try to give these weekly updates or bi-weekly updates. On Friday it was, I think, 18, right? Does that sound about right?
Yep.
It's up to 38 now. So everybody working together to follow up, and I've made sure that Melissa and Trish know that the high school nurses are willing and able to help out as far as backup and everything. Right now, I know Board of Health, for the most part, has it contained, and keeping the police chief and fire chief in the loop as to where the areas are, with being mindful of HIPAA laws at the same time. So that's really it for me. Melissa, did I miss anything initially?
No, I think you're spot on. Obviously, from last night to tonight, we had 8 cases. We are seeing some household members. We are seeing some medical professionals, obviously. We're seeing a large range in age. But obviously, I just want to say kudos to Trish is running the whole operation for investigation. So it's a lot that goes on with investigation. So I really, really want to thank Trish for all of her work. From the time she gets the case, she calls the person, she reaches out, makes sure that they're okay, that they don't need any services, and then conducts a full investigation from the time that they were symptomatic to who they were in contact with. And that's like the front line, and that's totally, flatlining the curve, hopefully, and stopping the spread. Because when you get the contacts, you're obviously limiting the spread of the virus. So thank you so much, Trish. Thank you to Rika as well, like Jim said. And then Jen just jumping on board, obviously. It's a lot going on in the office, but everyone's holding up and everyone's so positive. So I really am appreciative of that. Aside from working with the police, we're working on kind of what's essential businesses, what's non-essential businesses. We've gotten some calls from patrons going out saying this isn't an essential business. We're following the guidelines. Obviously, the guidelines are changing by the minute. We're working with the police. The police are our eyes and our ears if they see things going on, because technically, as you know, the Board of Health is the authority to stop things going on that should not be going on. So they're kind of our eyes and our ears. They relay back to us, and then we can take action as needed. So it's a great communication. I feel like all the departments are very helpful, and we're all working together through the situation. Again, I think the best protection is personal protection. You as an individual can protect yourself, obviously, by social distancing yourself, proper hand washing, personal hygiene, sanitizing, and obviously remaining home when you're sick, and in general, just remaining home if you're not essential personnel. That's the way to kind of limit contact, whether it's direct or indirect. I don't know.
Is there any commonality in those 38 cases that we need to be concerned about?
It's not like it's in one part of town or another. Trish, you can touch upon it a little bit more, but you're seeing a range in age and a range in location within town.
We're not seeing any hot spots or anything like that?
No, a good number of healthcare workers, for sure, now that more of the testing's available. But we have a couple families where the entire family's been hit. But again, there's no one specific employment place. There's not one specific, neighborhood, anything like that we're really seeing. It's a pretty wide range.
Well, that's good. I think one of the key things is to avoid that so-called super spreader event where somebody who is infected infects a whole lot of other people. I was listening to a story today about the funeral down in Albany, Georgia, and one person wound up infecting hundreds, I guess, of folks down in that area. So I guess it's good that we're not seeing that kind of thing happening here.
That's a huge reason why you need to limit the number of people, right? Because when you think about it, if there is a positive case, you have to think you have to do an investigation based off of the numbers, and it's really, really, really hard once you increase the numbers to actually conduct a effective investigation at that point.
Right. Oh no, I'm absolutely amazed and appreciative of all of the efforts that you guys are doing on this. It's just amazing.
And
Thank
just
you,
one
Rob.
last thing, as far as Melissa touched upon in essential services, that list is changing. I think it changed today. I don't have the updated list, but
Yeah.
one of the questions that went out to one of my email servers with all the Norfolk managers was, is landscape servicing covered? And yes, so landscapers can continue to work. That's specifically identified as an issue. We're dealing with Joanne Fabrics now. Their counsel reached out to Melissa. I asked our counsel just to review their opinion and make sure we're good to make sure that they can continue to be open. But those little things are coming up here and there.
I mean, this is certainly uncharted territory for all of us, but I think as a town, we are doing everything that we can do.
Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Board of Health stands in absolute support of anything and everything that either you, Jim, or the select board or whatever needs to consider. We're going to be behind you 100%.
And us with you too. So we got a great staff. We're lucky to have everyone in place. I keep telling Melissa that it's good that we have a full team in place now. So if you guys need anything from me, get in touch with me directly or through Melissa. Her and I email and text a couple times a day. So
Yeah.
You got it.
all right.
Thank you,
Check out
Jim.
that. Let you
Well,
all.
thanks so much for your support.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jim. Melissa, I asked a question, I think I was muted. Do we know if any of the cases have recovered?
So as of this point, none of our cases have been hospitalized that we're aware of. And Trish, jump in at any point, but everyone seems to be like they didn't seek any additional medical help.
Okay, so just mild symptoms, nothing serious? Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute.
No, it's okay.
I think the most serious symptoms we've been seeing is what you've heard is respiratory. A lot of pneumonias with it, but when they've been testing for the COVID-19, it seems like a lot of facilities are also coinciding with the chest X-ray if they have a lot of those respiratory symptoms, so they're getting on antibiotics fairly quickly. So that's been resolving. Kind of that's what I've heard is the worst part of it is the cough, the pneumonia. So there's only starting treatment early enough. And just an update from symptoms, I was thinking it with Dr. Greenhurst that I have been hearing a lot more of people's, one of their main symptoms is loss of smell and loss of taste.
Yeah.
A lot more people are saying that, which is kind of an odd symptom, but it's definitely a common one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a very high level of fatigue, like it's not a fatigue, like people just want to just sleep on the floor, they say,
Yes.
like in the legs. Okay.
Yep, that's what I've been hearing too, and just wanting to spend, a couple days in bed and just have absolutely no energy, no appetite. A lot of it mirrors, a pretty bad flu as well, except for the whole respiratory pneumonia end of it. But been pretty consistent with the symptoms. That's been a similarity, I guess, through all of them.
And I heard like if you drink a lot of hot fluids, it kind of washes it away because the virus stays in the throat for 4 days before it moves down to the lungs. So they recommend hot fluids, or at least warm fluids, in order to wash it off. And I also heard, I'm not sure if that really works, because they said the virus does not stand a chance in a dry, hot, dry environment. So people have been using hair dryers. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of that, no.
I haven't heard that, but considering where the virus has been spreading in terms of countries that are hot and dry, I don't know that that's got a lot of validity
Right.
to it. But who knows?
I don't know that Bill and I are gonna need to worry about hair dryers.
Oh, Richard. But no, I mean, the common, well, I shouldn't say common, but the thought that the warmer weather would bat this virus down, it certainly isn't supported by the fact that it's now in 140 or 150 countries, some of which are quite hot.
I think it's because the myelin sheath of the virus is lipid-based, so direct contact of the virus on hard surfaces with heat has been breaking down the myelin sheath of it. So I think
Okay.
that's where the heat comes in to play. I don't think it's been proven if it's necessarily heat that's ingested doing anything, but heat on contact of it when it's on inanimate objects has been
Oh, okay.
found to be helpful. That's why
But-
they're now autoclaving a lot of the masks and stuff, and they're treating them. They're saying if you put your fabric masks in the dryer for 30 minutes, that is breaking down the virus and making them better for protective equipment. So
Oh, okay. But I mean, if you're in a hot climate and somebody sneezes next to you, you still could be in jeopardy.
yes, yeah, because it's direct. That would be direct contact.
Gotcha.
But they're finding that the surfaces, the heat is breaking it down,
Mhm.
just like a disinfectant, like solvent would.
hmm Good. Well, that's good to know.
And are we?
Hopefully we'll have some warm weather soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Melissa, are we making sure that, like the grocery stores, like Stop and Shop, Walmart, they all have white for the cart, for the,
They do, yeah, they actively do have wipes and everything in place for their shopping carts, yes. And I've even seen recently they have the barrier in front of the cashier to hopefully protect the cashier as well during the exchange.
Yeah, I saw those,
of
they were
payment.
putting them in on Monday when I was at the grocery store.
okay.
Good, thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. So we'll move forward, I guess, with the agenda.
All right, what else do we need to deal with tonight, Melissa?
So everything that's on the agenda, if possible, so we don't carry it over the third time.
Don't
So
care.
approval of minutes would be next.
Okay. Are there any changes, corrections, additions, or deletions to the February 18th minutes?
No,
Yeah.
March 24th.
March 24th, yeah. I have
Oh.
a couple.
Okay, go ahead.
So the,
Oh, all right, I'm sorry, I have the wrong packet.
Correct.
the first one, do you have that?
Before, but I never received the minutes from that meeting.
So the minutes from last week's meeting, I emailed to everyone, but
Yes.
moving forward, I will mail them out hard copy
Okay.
for those who wanted it hard copy.
So the first line on the March 24th, it says technical difficulties should be technical difficulties.
Well, I
Okay.
voted on the minutes because I never received them.
So Carol said she cannot vote on the minutes because she didn't receive them in the mail, so she didn't have time to review them. But however, it's up to however you guys want to do it. We had 5 board members there at our last meeting, so you guys can still potentially push through the minutes if you choose to do so.
As long as we have at least 3 members who were present, we can approve them.
Correct.
Right, okay.
So Mona, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what your corrections were.
So the first line, instead of technically difficulties, technical difficulties.
Technically, yeah, that makes sense.
So good call,
Absolutely.
good call.
And then under motion for the risk-based food inspection,
Sure.
did I entertain the motion and second it? It says.
Oh, wait a minute, no, you would not. So I'll look back at my notes. I believe you made the motion, but I'll find out who seconded it. That's my error, sorry. All right, so I'll correct that.
Mona's just a super board member.
Can do
Sorry.
She makes a
everyone.
motion, she seconds it, she probably approves it as well.
I don't
Way to
think
go, Mona.
All-star. So are there any other comments, additions, deletions that you'd like me to be aware of?
I didn't see anything other than that, so I think we're okay.
Okay, perfect.
Right, do we have a motion then to approve those minutes?
So moved.
We have a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Motion
All right,
is made and
here's a second.
seconded, is there further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye? I have 3 ayes,
Aye.
Is Carol abstaining?
Carol is abstaining.
So 301?
So no, we should have 4 members on the call right now and then Carol would be 5, correct?
I said aye.
Oh, okay, so it's the 401.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. And then what, we have,
So this plan, it's not a plan that you're reviewing technically. I mean, we've seen it before.
Is
The
this Charles
Asarabi
Gate?
Estates. No, we're jumping down to the Asarabi.
Oh, yep,
You did the
okay.
Charles Gate, the last one. So Dan American is the engineer for this project. So we have seen this from other boards. He did submit a plan directly to our office for a definitive subdivision. But he made a comment to me saying that, I think we brought this to the board's attention probably last year. Whenever there's a definitive subdivision, the board has to either approve it or deny it. And they can approve it with conditions, but you can't say, you don't condone new construction within the wetlands. You have to say yes or no. So the whole thing is he said we hadn't done that. So we need to do something to either say yes or no. He gave me an email, just a couple of thoughts that I can relay to you all. So this is the plan. And again, you've seen this before. I believe I added it in the email that I emailed to everyone on last week regarding this. This was a single family existing home and he's looking to subdivide it to add on, it'd be 4 total homes on 1 lot. So the issue that Dan said is he said, if you're going to not approve it, can you hold off on doing that? Because he'd want to be present he wanted to be present at this meeting, but obviously with everything going on, he could not. But if it is the case, potentially I could have him call in during the next meeting. He did leave us with some key points that there was already a driveway on the site, and they're trying to use it as a private road. He said we will undoubtedly have to modify it to some degree, but the point is that there already is development there. So that's one of his points. And then he did say that none of the new lots will require any work within the wetlands. There may be work in the upland buffer zones on individual lots, but work will be done in accordance with the bylaws, rules, and regulations from the Conservation Commission, which is customarily required. So again, we can approve it with conditions or deny it. But like he said, if we're leaning towards denying it, he would like you to hold off and then potentially be present at the next meeting to be able to speak upon this directly.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not sure that denial is necessarily the route that we would want to go.
So Carol, I'm just going to reiterate because I don't know if you can hear her. She said that she would prefer him to be present at the meeting before voting on it.
I'm certainly okay with that.
So what I can do is I can have it go on our next agenda meeting and I can give him the Zoom contact, and I don't think it's a problem where he could potentially call in. And then that way he can address all questions and comments directly. Does that sound good?
That sounds good to me. So that'll be the
April 7th.
April 7th. Okay, let's do that.
Okay, perfect.
And we're talking about the Al-Sarabi, right?
Right.
Correct.
Mhm.
And what I'll do is I'll mail hard copies tomorrow along with the agenda for next week, just so everyone has it in hand as well. Or the people that want it in hand. If everyone requested an email packet, I'll follow suit with that.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, good. So now next up is the comprehensive permit application and notice for public hearing for the Summer Street project.
Yeah.
So this was in the packet. I believe this has been on the agenda for the last 2 meetings. So this was in the packet that you would have received a couple weeks back. Does everyone have it in front of them?
Yep.
Okay, good. So I know Ashley Clark, our economics development coordinator, spoke in front of the Board of Health probably about a month ago now regarding just 40B projects. And in particular, she did touch upon the Summer Street project. So this is a public hearing. It's actually been pushed further along, obviously, because they're not holding public hearings at this time. So at the time, I, voiced that we would have these opinions for the health department, but would you require a motion from the Board of Health? So she said, since it's not a huge rush, she'd rather a motion come directly from the Board of Health. So I just sent you all the email that Robin Chappelle had sent to Jim Johnson regarding this project. This was back in October. And if you look at it, a lot of the items were discussed with you in front of Ashley at the Board of Health meeting. So I would say to definitely reiterate these items on the list. And then potentially if you have any other comments or concerns, this would be the time to put them in a motion format.
Okay, well, I don't have any problem with the original comments. Is there any additional things that members of the board would like to add?
I don't see any additional ones necessary. The comments that were made by Robin back in October are very good. And they're of concern to us.
So you just need a motion based
So we'll
on?
make a motion. We can reiterate the comments as they were noted, and I'll put that in a full motion. So then in comments to the planning board or zoning board of appeals. I apologize.
Do I hear a motion on that matter?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Looks like it's 5-0-0.
Yes.
All right. What do we got next there, Melissa?
So the special permit for 103 Providence Highway.
Yeah.
So this is just a request for a special permit to allow an electronic message sign for Norwood Urgent Care. That is where the Acura dealer used to be. And so the sign, they provided the current sign and the new sign that they'd like to put. And it's about the same size. It's slightly shorter and slightly narrower. It's just wider along the bottom. I don't know if you can.
Wasn't that supposed to become some sort of urgent care center before, and then it stopped? Or is this the same group that's doing it?
I think it's definitely the same. I think it's the same applicants. This was probably about 2 years ago. I feel
Yeah.
like they came in for a preliminary kind of a discussion with department heads, and nothing went forward. So I'm assuming it's the same applicants.
Oh, okay. Because I know I'd seen some work starting there, and then it stopped, and now they're back working.
That's the same owners for the one in Norwood?
Those were the original applicants. Yes.
Okay.
So this is different from the other urgent cares that are already on Route 1.
Yeah.
But it's the same owner.
Same
As the
owner.
one in
Oh, okay.
Norwood, correct.
Okay. And this is just for a sign?
Yep, just to replace the existing sign with this newer, updated electronic message sign.
So the only thing I would just think about is potentially maybe having them do a solar sign, which I know you guys have done in the past with the electronic signs. You've at least encouraged it, and I don't even know if it's a potential, but just to put it out there.
Yeah, I would no problem including that in a motion, that we would like to see them do something with a solar powered sign. That'd be great. Cool. All right.
Okay.
Who'd like to make that motion?
I'll make a motion in regards to the special permit 103 Providence Highway. The Board of Health would like to recommend a solar for the applicant to use a solar sign
Okay.
instead of
Oh.
instead of the two-sided electronic digital display board.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Sounds like 5-0-0 on that. Great. Thank you very much. And then what? We have The Diamond Hill?
Yep, Diamond Hill Estates. So again, it's a smaller 40B project to build 6 condominium townhouses. So a total of 12 home ownership, so but 6 buildings. And 25% of the condos would be affordable at no more than 80% of the area mean income. It's not
where
in
is
the.
Dupuy Street?
It is off of High Plains Street. I don't know if you can. I'll hold
Off
this
of
up, but I don't know
27?
if you can see it. The highlighted in yellow is where the condos would go. And this is High Plains Street right up here.
That's
And
27,
Dupuy is
right?
down here.
Okay. I don't ever remember seeing Dupuy Street in my travels, but that's okay.
Well, now you can go look for it.
Are there any health issues?
So there, it's not going to be in any wetland areas or buffer zones. There's going to be 2 parking spaces for each unit. And they're going to be connected to town water and sewer.
Is traffic an issue there?
Melissa might be able to speak a little bit better to that area for traffic.
So not that I'm aware of right now. Obviously, a project like that would be required to do a traffic study though. So that's something the engineering department would review.
No, okay. But
So
from
the
a,
only thing is I think we talked about this, Rika, is just for trash and recycling. Did you touch upon that?
No, I didn't, but that it wouldn't necessarily be the town that would do it.
Correct. So we just want to probably have that in our motion just to clarify that it would be a private pickup for trash and recycling.
okay, so the condo association would need to arrange for that?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Do we hear a motion on that one?
I can make a motion regarding the Diamond Hill Estates. Board of Health would like to reiterate to the applicant that they need to have location for recycling and private trash. Other than that, the board has no other objections.
All right. Do I hear a second?
Don't we also want to have a traffic, looking into the concern with traffic in that area?
Right,
Shouldn't that be in the motion?
yes.
Traffic really isn't necessarily a Board of Health issue. I mean, we can certainly ask that it be looked at, but I don't know that we can insert our position on traffic
Can we make
into
it
the
as a
motion.
suggestion?
That's possible.
It seems to me that if traffic were significantly impacted, that represents a threat to the general
The safety.
health.
Hmm. Well, the motion could be modified to say that our quote unquote approval of the request is subject to engineering review of traffic. I think that would be okay. Yes, Melissa?
I like that. Yep.
Sure.
So is that okay with you, Richard?
Yeah,
I think
We
that's
modify-
perfect. Thank you.
If
Nope,
we
please do.
modify your motion that way?
That sounds perfect.
Okay, then we have a motion that's been modified. Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second it.
Second it.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. 5-0-0 on that. All right. Concom next.
Yes, so we have a notice of intent for 16 New Fisher Lane. It's a single-family dwelling that wants to install an in-ground pool and add an addition and deck. The proposed pool addition and the deck are within the 100-foot wetland buffer, but they are on town water and sewer. Let me see if I can.
And as I recall from other things that have been done on New Fisher Lane, that's a tough area, if I remember correctly, with John Glossa doing some septic upgrades in that thing. That's not it's an area that has some soil issues.
Yeah, that is a positive. It's on sewer because I know that area as a whole. It's definitely sparse. I feel like the sewer connection.
Hmm. And so this is going to be within the 100-foot buffer zone.
Yeah, so if you can see the, what's in orange is what they're adding on. So the addition and pool, the green line is the 100-foot buffer and the pink is the 25.
Okay. So I would assume our usual swimming pool statements.
Chemical storage, obviously your mosquito mitigation, kind of standing motion.
Okay, then I'll make a motion regarding the notice of intent for 16 New Fisher Lane that the Board of Health has its usual comments about swimming pools, drainage, protecting leakage of chemicals, et cetera, and mosquitoes, the whole thing. Do we hear a second?
Rick, I just heard Bringhurst.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 5-0-0 on that. We have storm erosion control bylaws.
Yeah, so this is, the Conservation Commission is requesting comments on draft revision. So the new and updated stormwater and erosion control bylaw regulations. So I spoke to the conservation agent, and she did state that we already have regulations in place. These are just updating them to meet EPA requirements. So they're taking a draft that other communities have already used, and they're changing it to fit Walpole and fit what we already kind of had in place. And so it's just adding a little bit more review to the process and making sure that smaller projects are also included in conservation's review when it comes to stormwater and erosion control. And she did say there's going to be multiple versions. It's going to go through multiple edits. And then it's going to go for public comment as well.
So do you need a motion tonight, or?
I think they were just requesting comments, and by what the conservation agent stated is that we might be seeing this again as they go through more edits. So
I would say a motion's probably good at this moment regarding what they're providing to us.
Is that what at the moment we've got nothing to add?
Exactly.
Okay. Somebody want to make that motion?
Yeah, motion in regards to the storm and erosion control bylaw regulations. The board has no specific concern this time.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor?
Make a comment that I would
Nope.
Carol wants
appreciate
to
the
make a
fact
comment.
that may I
I'm
make
sorry.
a comment?
Sarah, what?
I would like to make a comment that I appreciate the fact that they are looking at these regulations and expanding them and in such a manner that it covers any such problems that may develop in the future.
Excellent. All right. All right, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
5-0-0 on that. And then we have 180 Stone Street. What's going on there?
yes, so they're gonna, they're requesting to construct an addition to an existing single-family dwelling. And the work is located within the 100-foot wetland buffer. The property is connected to both water and sewer. Let me see if I can pull up. So in orange is the addition that they're adding, and the pink is the pink line is the 25-foot buffer, and the green is the 100-foot.
So this is just an addition?
Yes.
They're not putting a pool or anything like that in?
Nope, just an addition.
Okay. Any concerns that we need to be aware of, Melissa or Ricky?
Just the wetlands, that it's within the 100-foot buffer.
And they'll obviously take all of the appropriate protective measures as they're doing this work.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just probably reiterating our normal mosquito mitigation within the 100-foot buffer zone.
Right.
Just out of
Okay.
question, do we know how big the addition is going to be?
Yes, let me see what it has written. It looks like it's about 50 feet by 30 feet.
So does that
Wow.
require addition of an additional bathroom? Do you think that's gonna affect like the septic system or?
So it's on
They're
sewer.
town sewer.
Okay,
So it doesn't have a septic. If it were on septic, it would, but since they're on town sewer,
Okay.
that wouldn't fall under our jurisdiction.
okay.
So our kind of standard wording about mosquitoes and human-borne vectors and all of that. Okay. Who'd like to make that motion?
I can make a motion regarding the 180 Stone Street. Board of Health to use our standard terminology for building that we oppose to building the wetlands, but we want to remind about the mosquito issues and precautions that are needed.
All right. Motion's been made. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's made and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And we heard 2 ayes.
Aye.
Oh, there's a third eye.
Aye.
All right, looks like it's 5-0 on that. All right, and then we have Lincoln Road.
Yep, so just an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation for them to delineate the wetlands at this property. So at this time, I would say the board wouldn't have a
Right,
concern.
it's, we have to kind of defer to them to actually do the work, right?
Exactly.
And I'll make a motion then regarding the notice of resource area delineation at 533 Lincoln Road that the Board of Health has no comment at this time.
Second.
Okay, I hear a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll call that 5-0-0. All right, what do we have? Planning Board, 2 town meeting articles?
Yes, so both of these, because town meeting has been pushed back, will get pushed back. But the planning board is requesting comments on an amendment to zoning Article 21. And it just looks at including, it really looks at making sure that we add affordable housing when we have large construction projects in the community. And so it spells out, depending on how many units you have, are constructing the percentage that need to be affordable housing units. And then the zoning board of appeals, they would be charged with administrating this bylaw and promulgating the rules and regulations.
And what about Article 23? Same or?
No, so Article 23 touches upon parking for Gillette Stadium and allowing, so currently businesses can pay for people to park in their lots around Gillette. This would now allow private parking lots. So if you are a resident of Walpole within a certain radius, let's see if I have that radius here, I can show you, can allow parking during stadium events.
Oh, okay.
So here is Water Street, kind of at the center, and you can see, I believe it's a half-mile radius around.
Okay. Any issues that we need to be concerned about with either of those?
Well, so for Article 21, just keeping in mind that any new construction, they need to keep in mind Title V. So if they're putting in septic systems, keeping in mind setbacks that are required in Title V. Same with, there's an on-site drinking well. The potential need for private trash and recycling, depending on the size of the project. Generally condominiums, apartment complexes have private trash and recycling. And then just keeping in mind that each plan will still go in front of us separately to comment on. And then, I was going to go to 23, but you can finish on 21 first.
Well, no, I'll just say that I will make a motion then regarding the spring 2020 town meeting, Article 21, that the Board of Health adopts the comments that Rika was so nice to make in terms of, trash and recycling, setbacks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do we
I
have
will
a second on
second.
that? Okay, motion is made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, 5-0 on that. And then Article 23, doesn't.
So some of the concerns that Melissa and I had discussed were just making sure, there's sidewalks for people to walk to the stadium from the parking, that there's lighting in the evenings when they're walking back, or even two, depending on the time of year and when the event is, trash and where bathrooms will be, and then also the concern of parking, where our Walpole residents who fall within this radius, if they have stadium event parking on their property, on what surfaces? Is it going to be on grass, or is it going to be an impervious surface? Those are just some of the concerns that first came to us.
I can't imagine why anyone would want to park in Walpole and walk all the way down to the stadium, but maybe that's just me. Although I guess there are parts of Walpole that are relatively close.
Yeah.
But you never know, now that Tom Brady left, who knows how busy they'll be. I've been waiting for that one.
Well, there may not be anybody who wants to go anymore. Who knows? Okay, so what? I think those are very good concerns. How do we want to fit those into a motion?
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Rika, I think the building department is going to be kind of reviewing projects. That's my take on it from the building commissioner.
Yes.
So I would say potentially we, as either the Board of Health as well as the health department, would want to weigh in on every plan review that they have, because we would want to make sure that they're meeting these requirements, I would say.
So the motion should be what? That we want to have anything that comes before the town come before our board?
The Board of Health feels it's appropriate for it to review any proposal to install.
Well, I like that. That's a good way, Richard. Thank you. Does that meet what you think you need, Melissa?
I think that's good. Yeah, and in the motion, we can touch upon like the 4 items that Rika brought up, just as that's probably the main reasoning why we'd want to review it, just to make sure that it's meeting these 4 criterias.
Okay, so Richard's made a motion that we want to make sure that the Board of Health is included in any review, specifically with the 4 items that Rika brought forward. Is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Sounds like 5-0 to me on that one. All right. New business? Old business? Any business?
Coronavirus is the business lately. I think it's taking over. So obviously we're going to try to meet again next week. So we'll go moving forward, meeting weekly, 7:30. I'll send everything out to regarding the conference confirmation. Next meeting, we will bring back the Sarabi Estate. So I'll make sure you guys have that in your packet, and I will reach out to Dan American to see if he could potentially be on the call with us, just to give us a little more information directly. And then I know, Bill, you mentioned the reorganization of the board. So if anyone wants to dethrone Bill, think about it this week.
Well, if you don't do it this year, you're going to have to do it next. So that's okay. Do we need to deal with animal inspector?
So we already did that last week. So I
Oh, we did?
actually, John Spillane was able to come into town hall. He had our town clerk notarize it, so it's already been put into the
Okay.
mail. And they already said they're kind of waiving the whole April 1st, given the circumstance. But I
Right.
think we'll already have ours in by tomorrow, so that's good.
Okay. Something popped into my mind and then it went right back out. What the heck was it? No, who knows? So is there anything else? Oh, actually, no, it just popped back into my mind again. Household hazardous waste day still pending? Or
Still
with,
pending, but I think I'll have to make a decision within the next week or so. It's really tough because now everything's extended until May 4th. So
Right.
realistically, we wouldn't be able to hold it, right? Because May 2nd's the date. So I guess
Right.
that answers itself. So I'll try to reach out to the vendors. It's just hard to plan another day not knowing what's going to take place. So, I mean, originally I would think a June date would be good, but at this point it's really hard. So I'll reach out to like Clean Harbors, our Viola company, just to see what they're doing and what they're
Okay.
potentially planning for other communities.
because I
That's a good
was going to
point.
mention that our travel plans to Wisconsin have changed. The health department out there is strongly suggesting that if you have a second home, just stay at your first home. Because the population out there is generally older, and they just don't want a whole lot of folks showing up. So we're not going to go out at the end of April.
Okay.
So I would be around if we have a waste day on May 2nd, but we'll have to see. So
But in reality,
just
now
put that
with
on
the
the
new
agenda for next
guidance-
time and we'll see.
We'll put on, but for the new guidance, I'll make some calls tomorrow because for the new guidance, technically that's April 4th. So
Right.
this event would definitely trigger more than, the.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Especially from last year. So.
Okay.
And I was planning on going to Arizona on April 20th, but that's not happening.
Yeah, it's kind of all up in the air.
The whole state is under lockdown now, so.
Anything else that we need to deal with?
So we'll meet again April 7th. I want to thank Karen again. 'Cause
Oh,
this
yes,
is her
absolutely. Karen,
last meeting.
I understand you're moving on to do something more fun and more interesting.
No, they just moved my classes to Tuesday nights.
Ah,
She's teaching, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
so. I'm sorry I
appreciate
can't be there.
your contributions and your participation over the last many months, and we wish you the very, very best.
Thank you very much. This has been definitely an interesting learning experience, so I appreciate everybody.
Things should change, let us know.
I will.
Definitely.
All right.
Good
All right,
luck.
is there nothing else for the board to deal with tonight?
Oh,
Then we'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor? We're done, everyone.
Aye.
Be safe, be healthy, and we'll
Stay
touch
away.
base in 1 week.
Yeah.
same time, same place next week. I'll give you guys, so I